They have outlived the dinosaurs, survived asteroid strikes, and endured mass extinctions that wiped out most life on Earth. Crocodiles are living relics of a prehistoric world, armored giants that have prowled rivers and coastlines for over 200 million years. To look into the unblinking eyes of a crocodile is to stare into something older than humanity itself, something that has been perfecting the art of survival since before there were cities, before there were civilizations, before there were even humans to fear them. We know them as ambush predators, masters of patience, lurking beneath still waters with only their eyes above the surface. But what if I told you the legends may be true, that crocodiles can do more than wait, that they can remember faces, that they can hold grudges? For centuries, indigenous tribes, fishermen and hunters have whispered the same warning: never mock a crocodile, never harm one, never think you've escaped it, because it remembers. And now scientists are beginning to uncover evidence that suggests these legends aren't myths at all, they might be terrifyingly true. Across Africa, Asia, and Australia, eyewitness stories pour in from people who have lived alongside crocodiles for generations. In the northern territories of Australia, saltwater crocodiles, known locally as salties, are feared not just for their size, but for their uncanny persistence. Locals tell of crocodiles that reappear near the same fishing spots year after year, seemingly targeting the same people who once escaped their jaws. One ranger recalls how a crocodile he once captured and relocated hundreds of kilometers away returned months later to the very same stretch of river. This wasn't instinct, this wasn't chance, this was memory. In India's Sundarbans, fishermen whisper of crocodiles that lurk along mangrove channels, trailing specific boats for miles. Some tell chilling tales of men who had once wounded a crocodile, only to vanish mysteriously weeks later near the same riverbank. Families, hushed but certain, insist the animal came back for them. Whether embellished or not, the consistency of these stories across cultures cannot be ignored. Crocodiles do not forget. And then there are the monsters of legend, the names that send shivers through entire communities. Take Gustave, the infamous Nile crocodile of Burundi, believed to be over 20 feet long and weighing nearly a ton. Local villagers say Gustave has killed hundreds of people, dragging them into rivers with terrifying precision. Witnesses claim he targeted the same fishing spots, returned to the same villages, as though he remembered faces, as though he knew. Researchers who tried to track him described him not just as powerful but as unnervingly calculating, evading traps, avoiding boats, disappearing for years only to resurface suddenly, reigniting terror. Gustave is more than a crocodile. To those who live near Lake Tanganyika, he is a legend, a hunter with memory. But this isn't just folklore. Modern science is beginning to catch up with what indigenous wisdom has always suggested. Crocodiles, it turns out, have brains far more advanced than we once thought. Unlike many reptiles, crocodiles possess a cerebral cortex, the part of the brain associated with decision-making and memory. Studies in captivity show that crocodiles can distinguish between individual humans. They recognize their keepers. They respond differently to familiar faces versus strangers. Some researchers even noted that crocodiles grew visibly agitated around specific handlers they had previously clashed with, even after years apart. And their intelligence goes beyond memory. Crocodiles display complex hunting strategies that suggest forethought. They've been observed herding fish into tight groups for easier feeding. They coordinate with each other, corralling prey in unison. Perhaps most unsettling, researchers have documented crocodiles using tools. During bird nesting season, crocodiles place sticks across their snouts, floating motionless. When birds swoop down to collect the sticks for their nests, the crocodile strikes. This is not instinct, it is innovation. It is proof that crocodiles don't just react, they plan. So, combine memory with strategy, and what do you get? A predator that doesn't just wait for opportunity, but creates it. One that doesn't just strike randomly, but chooses. And if they can remember faces, if they can recall encounters across years, then the question becomes chilling. Are crocodiles capable of revenge? The science says they remember. The stories say they hunt those they recognize. And the truth may be somewhere in between. But even the possibility is enough to transform how we view them. Because when you stand on a riverbank, when you peer into dark waters, you may not be facing a random predator. You may be facing one that knows you, one that has seen you before, one that has been waiting. In Aboriginal culture, crocodiles are often seen as guardians, creatures with spirit and will. Elders warn children never to provoke them because they do not forget. In African folklore, they are keepers of grudges, judges of the river, and even in modern communities, people who have clashed with crocodiles sometimes move away permanently, convinced the animal will remember them if they return. These aren't just superstitions. They are survival strategies passed down because enough people believe the danger was real. And here's the most terrifying thought of all. Crocodiles live a very long time. Some surpass 70 years in the wild. That means a crocodile could remember your face for decades. It could watch an entire generation grow, waiting silently in the shallows, patient as only a creature that has survived for millions of years can be. Imagine the implications. A fisherman wounds a crocodile but escapes. 10 years later, that same fisherman, older now, returns to the same river with his son. A ripple breaks the surface. Two eyes rise. Did the crocodile forget, or has it been waiting all this time? A silent ledger keeper of the natural world, tallying debts in the language of hunger and memory. Consider the story of a farmer in Papua New Guinea who lost several goats to a massive saltwater crocodile. The farmer shot at it, only grazing its hide before it slipped back into the water. Locals say the crocodile disappeared for months. But one stormy evening, when the farmer returned to the riverside, it struck. He barely survived. His neighbors insist it wasn't a coincidence. The animal had been watching, waiting, remembering. Even in modern tourist hotspots, guides quietly warn travelers, if a crocodile has once targeted you, stay away. In parts of northern Queensland, rangers tell stories of so-called marked men, individuals attacked twice by the same crocodile, years apart, despite relocations. It sounds impossible, but the pattern is there, whispered in ranger camps and survivor stories alike. What science calls associative learning, folklore calls vengeance. And perhaps the line between the two isn't as clear as we'd like to think, because crocodiles are not primitive beasts. They are survivors, patient, adaptable, and terrifyingly intelligent. They've endured everything the earth has thrown at them for 200 million years, and they may be doing so with memories sharper than we ever dared imagine. So, the next time you find yourself near a river in crocodile country, ask yourself, who is watching whom? The jungle may feel silent. The water may look calm. But beneath the surface, something ancient may be waiting. And if you've crossed paths before, if you've disturbed it, if you've mocked it, then you might not just be another stranger on the bank. You might be a face it remembers. And if that's true, then the scariest part isn't what the crocodile does. It's wondering whose face it's remembering right now. If this story shook you, if you want more hidden truths about the terrifying intelligence of nature's oldest predators, hit that subscribe button, share this with someone who dares to walk too close to the water's edge, and leave your thoughts below. Do you think crocodiles truly remember faces? Or are we only beginning to uncover how much they know? Either way, one thing is certain, the crocodile never forgets.